be. Hmm? When you get when you get soft on the piano line, but it could be how much of you is in the monitor playing.
Everything's really loud.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
So I'll try to keep that.
Yeah, especially on Which Child Is Yours. I mean, it's not a lot, but it's nice to have it there. Yeah. Hmm. And you're playing piano and willing to be Bowden?
Yes.
Okay.
Waiting for a person to re-announce us?
Well, Joe is supposed to get people sitting down. I think we wait till they close the door. What a hoot. The girls of Gary.
It's nice to have
Okay, it's ours.
doors are closed. Nobody's rushing the stage.
Are you ready?
Well, all right. During the pandemic quarantine, not one but two friends of mine chose to become public school teachers in the great state of Texas. Those were strange times. And this is a song I wrote for those friends. Their names are Matt Butterfield and Kevin Quintero. He shuffles into class 6 minutes late. I call him Miguel. He calls me Mister. He's wearing a mask much too small for his face. I happen to know that's 'cause he sewed it for his little sister. I know he packed her lunch, his little brother's too, and then from 5 to 8 a.m. he worked retail. End of the day, he's got another day job waiting. All I can say is, hey Miguel, you could still include more detail about your bald spot sunburned manager, about your grand aunt and her boyfriend fighting. I want to quit this job, but I can't, 'cause I'm such a fan of your creative writing. It's vivid and specific. Help with their homework. Wash their little masks. The soap feels slippery. The tacos taste terrific. I'm learning so many things I'd never be allowed to ask. Like, don't you dare tell his family who he never told about the night he snuck to Rite Aid and got himself the vaccine. I swear this kid writes like he was 65 years old, and I'm just trying to write like I was 16. But come lunchtime, I must dine with the birch bark shiny faculty. Beneath the whine of fluorescent lighting, they all say Miguel has a discipline problem. And I'm screaming inside, you pompous asses. Not one of you could pass my class in creative writing. Build a spaceship from your stories, and I'll blast off from my Lilliput apartment in a different solar system from which your words were written. I might find some creatures smart enough to figure out what you meant. I'll have my quarterly performance review. They'll say, don't worry. The first 10 years are the worst. You're doing great. If you just keep the kids from jumping out the windows, I'll say that is not my job. Not if I jump first. I can't afford to order in again, but outside the virus count is rising. I know tonight I'm gonna lose it, because every night I lose it. Before I lose myself in your creative writing.
We'd like to do a piece for you that was created by Leon Rosselson. He's a wonderful British songwriter and singer. It's called The Last Chance. And The Last Chance is a bar in Israel that Leon used to frequent in 1958, 59. He was living on a kibbutz there. And he said that the stories told in his piece reflect the attitudes that he learned from the people that he was associating with during his time in Israel. And he wrote this piece in 1982 after the invasion of Lebanon, The Last Chance. It was the last chance. It was a nightclub in the desert called the Last Chance. A cluttered dive of stones and wheels. It was a refuge for the rootless of the world, washed up like driftwood on the sand, and we were there. It seemed so long ago. They came from nowhere, the lost, the broken, and the mad, as if from nowhere. They stumbled in like blind invaders, while Mahalia boomed a gospel song, and candles blurred the gloom. They drank and argued till the dawn had drained the night away. among the seekers after oil or truth or a home, among the businessmen, the pickpockets and whores, among the soldiers and the tourists. Some had names and histories. Meyer, with his stone-bald head, built like a butcher, which he was. He made his money selling pork, but not on the Sabbath. They said his parents were killed in Belsen. They said he saw his sister raped, but no one really knew. Stories swirled about like dust on the desert wind. You never knew what was true. And in the end, it didn't really matter. There he was. And Sam, with his mournful expression and his mobile face like crumpled leather, there he was, a dancer, light on his feet. Theirs was a needle match, each coming out trying to outscore the other. Sam out of mischief, Meyer out of a desire for victory. So they came from opposite corners of the ring in every argument, and everything was an argument. Like the Sinai campaign. For Meyer, that was a time of glory. That was when we found out we were strong, he said. Strong? Shrugged Sam. Who needs it? So Meyer pinned his arm behind his back and forced him to his knees. You do, Jew, he said. The general opinion was that Meyer won that round. They came from nowhere, the broken, lost, and the mad, as if from nowhere. They blundered in like blind invaders, while Mahalia boomed a gospel song, and candles blurred the gloom. They drank and argued till the dawn had drained the night away. Do you remember the day the Bedouins came to town? I still remember their women standing still as stone, their silent shapes cocooned in black against the whitewashed walls that echoed back the sun to blind the eyes. Ghosts from another world. You know what's wrong with Israel? Said Meyer one night. I know, said Sam, dancing in, grinning. Too many Arabs, right? Wrong, said Meyer. Too many Jews. Look at them, rabbles. They don't speak Hebrew, half of them. Rabble. Take the Yemenis, donkey riders. Never stepped foot on a bus before they came here. And their women, all whores. What about Romanians? Sam threw in obligingly. All thieves, said Meyer. They say all Hungarians are bald, said Sam, and raised his eyes to the heavens. Meyer ignored him. We must forge one nation, he said. We must weld the youth into one nation. Why? Said Sam. How? Said Sam. In the fire, Meyer went on. In the heat of battle, we will become one nation. Under King Solomon, Israel was a great nation, rich and powerful, and one day we will be so again. Sam sighed. We are Jews, he said. Why should we turn our children into Israelis? History loves a winner, said Meyer. No more guilt, No more fear, no more being different. I like being different, Sam said. Mayor stood up and pointed a thick finger and yelled. He thinks he's funny. This Jew thinks he's funny. No wonder they fed you into the ovens. Do you remember the day the Bedouins came to town? I still remember their women's waiting still as stone, their silent shapes cocooned in black against the whitewashed walls that echoed back the sun to blind the eyes. Ghosts from another world. Across the desert, the road carves southward to the Red Sea through the desert. A cratered moonscape made of sand. We saw the burning fists of rock and felt the wind that sucked us dry and heard those urging, surging songs. Always new lands to tame. Mayer liked telling stories of how in the War of Independence he blew up Arab homes. He knew Sam would become agitated. It would turn Sam inside out. It is not true, he said. You did not do that. Why not? Said Mayer. Facts. Now there's nothing left for them to return to, only stones. Let them find homes with their own kind. I want nothing to do with such facts, said Sam. Where would you be without them? Sneered Mayer. We made this country, he said. Before us, what was there? Marshland? Desert? The promise was to us. The desert shall blossom like a rose. There were people, Sam said, like us, with hopes and dreams. Hopes? Dreams? Mayer spat the words out. You think you can buy the future with dreams? And he took a pile of notes from his pocket and threw them on the table. There, he said. Facts. Money. Don't give me your dreams. Sam turned away and began to find a dance with his feet, like a child taking its first steps, while Mahalia sang on, her voice intense with the joy and pain of believing. But Mayer wasn't finished. This man is full of dreams, he taunted, full of could-have-beens. A dancer, he could have been. A mime artist, he could have been. It's true, said Sam, as he moved and swayed to the music. I could have been a great mime artist. And slowly, his mournful face upturned and his hands outstretched, he wove a strange, shuffling dance round the pillars and the wheels and the homemade stools, round the stolen signpost indicating Ramallah 45 kilometers away, round the lacquered stones and the pieces of driftwood, twisted, gnarled, desolated by the wind and the waves. Mayer's stone ball head seemed to swell with fury. Displaying himself, he said contemptuously. Where is the dignity? And he pushed aside his cognac and pulled himself to his feet and picked up a stone and gripped it in his bunched fist and in his eyes was a peculiar sort of hatred. And suddenly the jangle of noise, the chattering, the shouting, the laughing fell away to a whisper. Everyone turned to watch. There was only the sound of Mahalia singing and the shuffling steps of Sam's dance. Could we have guessed then how it would be? Could we have seen in Mayer's eyes those certainties, facts, the houses torn apart, the torture, the weeping, the children dying, fragmentation bombs, the phosphorus bombs, facts, the shortest distance between the past and the future. But we saw only Mayer, stone in his fist, and we waited in silence for what he would do. "Sit down," he said in a low voice. "Sit down." And then he hurled the stone with all his force, not at Sam exactly, but still at Sam. It smashed against a pillar and clattered to the floor. Sam froze, stopped dancing. A silent shape in the candle gloom, his mournful face crumpled and yellow. It seemed to us he was about to cry. Then he put his arms above his head as if to protect himself, turning in on himself. "I want to go home," he said. "I want to go home." It was the last chance. It was a nightclub in the desert called The Last Chance, a cluttered dive of stones and wheels. It was a refuge for the rootless of the world, washed up like driftwood on the sand, and we were there. It was so long ago. Leon Rosselson, The Last Chance. We sang the other night in Madison, Wisconsin, which is the home of two of our favorite songwriters, Peter and Lou Berryman. Did you ever get to hear Peter and Lou Berryman? Well, they're all over YouTube, so you've got a treat in store for you. Actually, I think they're as Lou and Peter, excuse me. And I was thinking the other day, walking along, that Peter has this pattern of writing songs that provide the answers to the rhetorical questions. Like he wrote the song, "Why Won't Johnny Bowl?" Or, "Why are we painting the living room?" And this particular song fits into that niche as well. All of our bedrooms are gilded and burnished
with every conceivable luxury furnished.
security guards always lurking here somewhere.
And calmative drugs at the hint of a nightmare.
With eider down pillows of 1,000-count satin.
on 12 poster beds with a view of Manhattan, a soothing and comforting sight. So why do you people keep asking us how we can sleep at night? With dreams of our limousine fleets holding steady, and jets on the tarmac all fueled up and ready, and 100-foot yachts for our White House connection, and choppers to whisk us in any direction. Now even our House of Accountants relaxes. They've worked it all out so we barely pay taxes. The future is peaceful and bright. So why do you people keep asking us how we can sleep at night? If ever our government lay down the sword, creating a dip in the Dow, we might need our nightcaps more liberally poured. But everything's booming right now. And thanks to the coming of privatization, they'll no longer nick us for free education. We won't have to spring for the old and the lazy, or pop for the health of the wretched and crazy. We're calmer today than we've been throughout history. So why you would ask us this now is a mystery. We don't get it, try as we might. Why do you people keep asking us how we can sleep at night? We don't mean to be impolite, but why do you people keep asking us how we can sleep at night?
Words to live by. Time to speak some truth to power. This is a song where I'm going to speak some truth to the people who really hold the power in this upcoming election. This is a brand new song. I haven't actually really decided how it ends yet, but starts a bit like this. Would you rather eat this filet mignon that somebody spilled some horseradish on? Or would you rather swallow this Roach Motel and wash it down with some cyanide? I can't decide. Would you rather swim in this backyard pool, knowing the last guy who swam here wasn't so cool? Or would you prefer to be fully submerged in this freezing cold tub of formaldehyde? I can't decide. I'm undecided. I'm just not sure. There's so many options. It's sort of a blur. In my personal purple I'm undecided. I'm deciding your fate. Would you rather climb up this flight of stairs whose carpet shows signs of wear and tear? Or would you prefer to traverse this 400-foot cliff on a ledge a half an inch wide? Everybody, I can't decide. I'm undecided. I'm not sure about that. I live in a black box with Schrodinger's cat in my permanent personal purple stage. I'm undecided. I'm deciding your fate. I'm undecided. Undecided. It's anybody's guess why the world in which I play God is a god-awful mess. In my personal purple stage, I'm undecided. I'm deciding your fate.
Well, I'm really not sure what to do now. But it's always a problem how to figure out how to end a song. Malvina Reynolds, a most wonderful songwriter, was reported to write a song every day after breakfast. And her advice to the songwriter was, when you finish your song, take out scissors and cut off the last verse, which I find to be very confusing advice. This was a song that I started and wasn't able to finish. It was stimulated by the school shooting in Uvalde, Texas, and specifically by the reports of the first responders who had to go in to that building. And I got just to a point where I didn't know what else to do with it. But in the last year, it sort of came back into focus, and that's how it got an ending. You stand behind the yellow tape. You tremble and you sob. No going in and no escape. They're handing you a swab. Just twist it round your mouth, they say. Then there's an awkward pause. We need it so we know, they say, which child is yours. The AR-15 is a lethal gun. It packs a heavy load. One shot and it will kill a child. 2 shots and she'll explode. No other rifle can compare. So if you're keeping score, it complicates things if you care to know which child is yours. And who will sort them out today? This endless bloody chore. For every child is easy prey, and every child is yours. In Gaza City, parents have to write their children's names with magic markers on their legs, pretending it's a game. But older children who have lived through never-ending wars know it is so. The rescue teams will tell which child is yours, and who will sort them out today. This endless bloody chore. For every child is easy prey, and every child is yours. Every child is easy prey, and every child is yours. Jim Crow.
Oh, you're so right.
And why were you just sitting there, Rick?
Well, sometimes it's nice to have a little break.
I thought you were undecided.
I will be soon. So here's a song about all of the things that are happening to prevent people from voting and all of the ways that we should react to that. I know that it's complex living in a swing state. I know that this hasn't been a swing state for a little bit. I live in Brooklyn, so it's like, what am I supposed to do? But I got a lot of friends in Brooklyn who really ought to be able to vote and can't. And there's lots of people all over the country who ought to be able to vote and can't. This song is for them. And if something inspires you in the next couple of weeks, I think it might be the idea that if you get even one other person to vote who wasn't going to, then that really contributes a lot to the numbers. I think that, since they say that right now it's like 49-49, that means that if you get someone to vote for your candidate, if we all do that, then it'll be 98-49, right? I think that's mathematically correct. That's not really what the song is about, though. That's really just kind of an excuse to play the song, and it goes like this. When 6 white dudes in a power-grasping mood strike your right to vote down with a pen, and they swear to their God there's someone else committing fraud, that's when Jim Crow rears his head again. Jim Crow's head looks at blue votes and sees red. Jim Crow's head's only ever had one goal. So when Jim Crow's head rises up like the undead, like a zombie without body, brains, or soul, are we gonna let Jim Crow's head take control? Or is Jim Crow's head gonna roll? Now see, I sort of screwed up because I was trying to write a song with a singable chorus. That's not really a singable chorus, but the last line, though, you can come in on that last line and it'll be really inspiring. We'll be able to envision Jim Crow's head rolling as far as it possibly can. So let's do that.
Jim Crow's head goes down to a particular part of town where the high election turnout doesn't suit him. There he rips up ballots saying none of them are valid while he whines about how liberals persecute him.
Jim Crow's head heads back to the white side of the tracks where the... Sorry. Do you want to do the chorus?
No.
Okay, Jim Crow's head heads back to the white side of the tracks where his speaker fees and book deals are substantial. There he goes on Fox where he talks and talks and talks about his views unjustly being canceled. Jim Crow's head looks at blue votes and sees red. Jim Crow's head's only ever had one goal. So when Jim Crow's head rises up like the undead, like a zombie without body, brains, or soul, are we gonna let Jim Crow's head take control? Or is Jim Crow's head gonna roll?
Jim Crow's head keeps yelling he can always spot a felon by their zip code or the hue of their complexion. And some scholar for $1 built a creepy Burkhardt collar to be sure they won't be voting next election.
What? Jim Crow's...
Can I try that again?
Yeah, this is like
Jim
basic...
Crow's head keeps yelling he can always spot a felon by their zip code or the hue of their complexion. And some scholar for $1 built a creepy web grub crawler to ensure they won't be voting next election.
Jim Crow's head is known to philander with a gal called Gerrymander. In sordid acts of Congress they canoodle. Their big lies birth big laws, chopping voters up like jigsaws till the map looks like a gummy noodle strudel. Jim Crow's head looks at blue votes and sees red. Jim Crow's head's only ever had one goal. So when Jim Crow's head rises up like the undead, like a zombie without body, brains, or soul, are we gonna let Jim Crow's head take control? Or is Jim Crow's head gonna roll? Jim Crow's head's so swollen from his trolling through the courts and city halls and cyberspace. Don't just get upset that he hasn't vanquished yet. People, let's go get in Jim Crow's face. Jim Crow's head looks at blue votes and sees red. Jim Crow's head's only ever had one goal. So when Jim Crow's head rises up like the undead, like a zombie without body, brain, or soul, we gonna let Jim Crow's head take control? Or is Jim Crow's head gonna roll?
Getting down to the shank of the evening here. This is a get out the vote song. And we have been on this tour of battleground states and Indiana and Ohio. We've been accused of being partisan and even said that this get out the vote song was partisan, although all I do is suggest that we should vote for someone who tells the truth. Now, that is a partisan statement, I know that, but that's not my fault. And it's not your fault either, Rick.
It really isn't.
No, it's not. Are you there then?
I seem to be.
Well, all right then. I've been battered by Bush, betrayed by Barack, taunted by Trump, but let me remark that I'm still willing.
You know, the best folk songs that we ever sang were sung by Pete and Woody in the Wallace campaign. Wallace. Flawless Wallace.
I got excited by George McGovern. Not too much excitement since then. Kennedy, Jackson, McCarthy, Kucinich made a good start, but they never could finish. But if you give me someone who tells the truth, and you show me a voting booth, then I'd be willing to be voting. I was madly for Adley, but too young to vote. I was old enough to fight when LBJ wrote, greetings, are you willing? You know, I backed Goldwater back in '64. What was that for? It was all a blur in '64. But I'm still.
And I was not tricked into voting for Nixon. I resisted Reagan, sorry old Rand. Rejected every other rat the Republicans ran. Always a millionaire and always a man. But if you give me someone who tells the truth, and you show me a voting booth, then I'd be willing to be voting. Take off your gloves, Rick. My father voted for Norman Thomas. Grandfather voted for Debs. Great-great-grandfather voted for Lincoln. I go and vote for Bill Clinton. What the hell was I thinking? But if you give me someone who tells the truth, and you show me a voting booth, then I'd be willing to be voted. Thank you, and thanks to Lloyd George. That's not right. Lowell George. No thanks to Lloyd George. He should have known better.
We're going to do one more song before we do our 13 or 14 encores. This has been an amazing evening. Thank you all so much for being here. Thanks to the Unitarian Church. Thanks to Jeffrey for running our sound, which I think is pretty good. It's pretty good sound in here.
And thanks to Walter, who is the videographer tonight, who is recording and will archive and put it up on YouTube so we can all go home and see all the mistakes we made.
This is a song based on, well, not the lives so much, but the afterlives of three people from history. Their names are Williams Carter Wickham, Charles Lynn, and Edward Colston. If you don't know who those three people were, that's great. That's how we like it. But this is a song that I wrote in the summer of 2020 when these people's reputations took a little bit of a downward plunge, you might say. And this is a song about how that happened. Your childhood was ringed by cotton fields. The hands that picked the cotton cooked your meals. While you grew up to be a soldier, then a general, of some renown. You fought the Union off at Chancellorsville. Your cavalry was flanked at Fisher's Hill. They felled your men, now follow them, statue down.
The cotton which those nameless people picked, you took from them and packed it in your ship, then sailed it to the mills at Liverpool, pound for pound. And from those sails you sailed the money back to keep your southern armies in the black. Now the bill is due, and so are you. Statue down. Statue down. You thought you were glory bound, and now you're on the ground.
You face the changing wind, no bronze and no stone to insulate your thin skin. From Bristol Bay you reached across the sea for silver, sugar, gold, and ivory. Your Royal African Company sure shopped around.
Then on the New World shores, the souls you sold weren't yours, except for one whose time has come. Statue down. Statue down. You thought you were so profound, and now you've been decrowned
And drowned in Bristol Bay, the gallery of decay, where your exhibit A for a day. And history is strange, and
history can change. You made history, now so do we. Statue down. Thank you. Rick Burkhardt.
Charlie King.
Joe Moran.
Yes, once again, let's put our hands together for Rick Burkhardt and Charlie King. We can do an encore again. You gonna do an encore? Oh my God, I'm speaking too soon. All right.
What's going on? Well, you're really good singers. And it just happens, just so happens that this final song is not only a sing-along, which it is, it's also a round. So for the advanced singers in the audience, you don't have to be advanced, you can be like lower intermediate. This is a very easy song to sing as a round.
You could be a kid.
I mean, you should. Everyone should. But let me explain. What we're going to do is first we're just going to sing the chorus normally, and then we're going to do it in this sort of call-response way where I just sing a line and you sing it back. It's real easy. You will learn the chorus. It will be seared into your amygdala. And then, you know, the song goes on. It's got like a couple verses. It's got a guitar solo and stuff. It's got another verse. And I don't want you to have to be like thinking like, when's the round start the entire time? You'll miss the entire narrative thrust of the song. So here's what I'm going to do a little cue, a little sort of sort of little sneaky clue that the round is about to start. It's going to sound like this. Okay? It might even be quieter than that, but it's like you're not going to miss it, I promise. Okay, and after that, you can just sing the chorus that we've been singing the entire song, but you can start it at any point. You can start, I'm quite serious. Any line you want, you can just start in on that. You can pick one line and just sing it over and over again. All sorts of things will work. This is a very, very, very easy but beautiful and effective round. And it's based on a series of stories by Eduardo Galeano. Is anybody here familiar with his work? He is a Uruguayan writer, one of my very favorites of all time, writes these wonderful books that are mostly made up of small anecdotes or fables or historical tidbits, primarily from the history of South and Central America. So you've got all of his books to read in your future. Just think what a wonderful future that's going to be. And here's the song that's based on some of his writings. I'm going to tune this because I really want it to be good. I would say that it is now really good. Yeah. The tree of life grows upside down, roots in the air, fruit in the ground. The tree of life grows upside down, roots in the air, fruit in the ground. Meet me at the tree where the clear river flows past the mountain whose name the junta doesn't know, and we'll run for the forest when the junta attacks. The falling leaves cover up our tracks. The tree of life, grows upside down, roots in the air, fruit in the ground, The tree of life, grows upside down, roots in the air, fruit in the ground.
Well, they climbed up the mountain and they gave it a number. They couldn't see the forest for the virgin lumber, and they swung with their axe blades and they hollered timber, and the mountain top slid into the river.
The tree of life, grows upside down, roots in the air, fruit in the ground. The tree of life, grows upside down, roots in the air, fruit in the ground. If you fall in the forest and nobody hears, then what's it gonna sound like when the forest disappears? 'Cause your past is enormous and your present is big. And if you want a future, you're gonna have to dig. When you get down to where your future begins, you'll see your history shaking in the wind. You'll see your history shaking in the wind. The tree of life grows upside down, roots in the air, fruit in the ground. The tree of life grows upside down, roots in the air, fruit in the ground. The tree of life grows upside down, roots in the air, fruit in the ground. The tree of life grows upside down, roots in the air, fruit in the ground.
Fruit in the ground,
Fruit in the ground.
fruit in the ground,
Fruit in the ground.
fruit in the ground.
Really, really great singing. Like we could hear it from up here. It was really great. Thank you so much. Charlie King.
Rick Burkhardt.
Thank you all for being, for being here this evening for this wonderful performance. Please drive carefully. Don't forget, we still have CDs at the table out back. And once again, Rick Burkhardt and Charlie King.
Walk